Well, it's something that we all hold very dear. It's a major part of our health for our entire lives. But not everyone or every child is able to keep up with this vital necessity. I'm Reba Toney. This is JoyIn Our Town. Today, we are talking with Liz Bear and Dr. Richard Mungo about your child's dental health. Thank you so much for being here.
Great to be here.
Reba.
Okay, so I love the program, Healthy Smiles for Kids in Orange County, because that's exactly what we want, right?
Exactly.
But not having those healthy smiles, it's not even just about being able to smile. Doctor, tell me about what not having good teeth, how that impacts a child's health.
Well, Reba, what we're really, the far-reaching problems, what we have to realize is the fact that our oral health is very much part of our overall health. And somehow along history here, things got separated and we think of dental and medical, but it's all the same.
Well, it's separated on my insurance card.
It is, and it's true. And the problem with that is that we don't think about all of the other problems and the aspects of their lives. For infants, it's all about feeding. It's all about learning how to talk. It's all about being comfortable and thriving. And when you have oral pain, oral infection, you can't eat properly, it's a real problem for children that are infants that are grown. When you're a child, and now we start talking about going to school, pre-K, kindergarten and that, then it's always about getting the proper nutrition in the morning. If you have infections in your mouth and pain in your mouth, you don't wake up happy, you don't have a good night's sleep, you don't eat a good nutritious breakfast. By the time you get to school, you're not concentrating on school or your teacher, you're concentrating on the oral pain. So your teeth have a big effect on speech development, eating, self-awareness.
Well, and it's funny that you say that because I know a lot of people will think, oh, they're just baby teeth, it doesn't matter. But you're saying it can affect what they're eating and even their education.
Exactly, exactly. In the United States, on a yearly basis, 1.5 million days of school are lost because of oral pain.
Wow.
We always think in terms of, for instance, asthma, number one chronic ailment of children that keeps them out of school. Actually, it's number 2.
Asthma is number 2.
Oral pain, oral infection, cavities, simple cavities, are number 1, and they're 5 times more prevalent a problem than asthma.
That's number 1.
And right here in Santa Ana, we've estimated that in the Santa Ana Unified School District, that's $500,000 that's lost to that school district because of children that can't come.
Wow. And it's a loss to the community, and it's a loss to the children.
Exactly. And so often, many parents don't realize what they can do and how we can treat it. And it's not specific to one area, it's children across the board. And that's one of the things that we're trying to reach out is make the fact that this epidemic is going on. Here in Orange County, 1 in 3 children in the areas that we screen have untreated visible decay. I'm not a dentist, I'm on the business side, but you or I could look into a child's mouth, and if we looked, we could see that.
We would be able to just visually tell. Yes. Well, you know, I'm imagining if, even if you have a nice house or a nice car, you know, with the economy the way it is, if you're contemplating, okay, am I making this mortgage payment or am I concentrating on my health? A lot of people might even choose their health, but they might not think that the dental is part of that.
Exactly. And when you're losing all of that, you're losing your insurance. And so there's an economic factor here. They can't afford to go, even if they wanted to. But it really reaches down also into the educational part of really making people aware of how important oral health is and how that affects our children. And when people are aware of that, sometimes our priorities change appropriately.
Liz, tell me how Healthy Smiles for Kids in Orange County, how they work and how they maneuver through the community.
Absolutely. We were founded because the founder was very concerned about children who weren't able to stay in school because of these issues. And we found that children, particularly without insurance, were not able to get care. So we were created to help those kids that were most underserved. But we weren't created just to treat. We were also created to do prevention and education. So we have a fixed site clinic in Garden Grove, and we have a referral line. So parents can call if they're looking for a dentist or they're not quite sure what they need to do. We also have a tooth fairy center where there's age-appropriate sinks and stalls for kids to come in and learn how long do I need to brush my teeth. Flossing is important. And to try to educate not just the children, but parents. because for the very young, they can't do that. So we do education throughout the county. We have 2 mobiles, and that's what we're most excited about. It's our 10th anniversary, and through a generous gift, Pacific Life, we now have a second mobile that will be going out into South County, and we're trying to get the word out that we are out in the community, we're at schools, we're at women's and children's centers, trying to get kids to come out and be screened.
I love that you were founded on what we were just talking about, and it's all of these days that these kids' lives are being impacted by poor oral health. I mean, here they are, the parents don't want their children to suffer. If the child had a fever, they would take them to the doctor. If the child were missing school for any other reason, the parent would think, I've got to do something. I've got to do whatever I can. But with oral health, for some reason, we just don't see the same sense of urgency. But if it's the #1 reason our kids are missing school and are having days where they're at home in pain, it seems like it should be #1 on our list.
Well, and you know, it's silent. As a mom, I'm a mother of 3 children, one of whom goes to school in Santa Ana and one who's down 2 in South County. I did not know how important regular preventive checkups were. And I'm an educated, committed mom, but I didn't know, for example, we all kind of know you can tie your shoes when you're about kindergarten age, but I didn't know that you can't really brush your teeth, you don't have the manipulation until you're 8. So the
Till you're
parental
8?
involvement is really important, but most of us parents don't get that education. And Dr. Mungo sees folks like that in the
So,
office all the
doctor,
time.
we're supposed to be brushing our kids' teeth till they're 8?
Yes, it surprises everybody every time we talk about it. If we stop to think that brushing your teeth really takes a lot of manipulation, a lot of concentration. If you think about it, there are many surfaces you have to hit. And so to expect a 3, a 4, or a 5, a 7, or even an 8-year-old to take the time to get all those surfaces, to have the attention span to do that, it's asking a lot. So really as parents, until they're about 8 years old, we really do have to assist them.
Wow, and we're going to talk more about that in the next segment, about how we can learn to really make sure that all this happens at home and what we can do at home. I want to get back to your mobile unit. Where does it go? What days? How do people know? Is there an ice cream bell so we know it's coming? How do we know?
We have been very fortunate. We've had good working relationships with the school districts. So currently, the first mobile that we had works mostly in central and northern Orange County.
Okay.
The second mobile that has just started operation is going to be focused in South County. So we coordinate through schools. There used to be a state-funded program that would support school-based screenings, and that funding went away in 2010. Healthy Smiles was very fortunate to be able to partner with some other collaboratives and to be able to continue to provide those screening services. So we'll go into a school, we'll screen all 200, 300, 400 children in that elementary school.
Wow.
We identify who needs additional prevention treatments, and then we come back and take care of those kids.
Okay, wait a minute. So you go in the first time and screen. Doctor, do you go do the screenings? Is it a nurse that does the screening?
We have a lot of doctors that are hired at Healthy Smiles, are part of our faculty and our staff. And we also have a residency program. We're connected with
great.
Chalk Children's Hospital and USC School of Dentistry. And so we train dentists to be pediatric dentists, because that's one of the other problems. It's all about access to care, too, and not having enough people here in Orange County to take care of the need. And so our residents and our dental students and hygienists and registered dental assistants, we all go out with the vans and do the screenings and try to establish the level of problem in that particular child in that school.
Tell me about a child that you've seen where you just couldn't believe it.
You know, we had a child a few years back that was just sweetest little girl in the world. She was 7 years old. First grade, had been held back a year because she wasn't performing well in school. And it was a school nurse, actually, that sent her to us. And we evaluated, we had gone out to that school, but for some reason we didn't get to see her on that day. But the school nurse knew we were there. She saw the van, she saw, Healthy Smiles. She finally had a resource. So she called us. We immediately had her come up to Garden Grove. We saw her at our Smile Center. And I can't describe how bad it was. It was just hard to believe. And she had infections and things that you just would not want your poor baby to have to
A
experience.
7-year-old, and that's probably why she wasn't functioning in school.
Exactly. And she just couldn't function at all. And so we were able to, we have donors, and it's very important that we have donors that help us because it costs money to do these procedures. Donors that had given us money for sedation, because she's 7 years old, you can't expect her to sit in a dental chair and say, go ahead, doctor, fix me.
Right.
So we had to use some sedation to get her comfortable, make it a pleasant experience. It took 2 or 3 visits. She did fine, thrived well. We kept in touch with her to make sure we saw her back, to make sure that we had talks with mom and the whole family, mom and grandma, because one of the reasons for all of this decay had a lot to do with diet. And a lot of things that the poor baby was getting to eat as snacks and that. And so that's part of our educational process. Change that paradigm, get mom and the family to realize that it's not just brushing. It really is diet, brushing, be aware of all these problems. At any rate, make a long story short, about 3 months later, we were called up to come to the school, and we really didn't know why. We were just, come to school, we'll come. And on the stage, they pulled us up on the stage, and 2 or 3 of us that were there, they made us their school heroes. This little girl's grades had gone up. She was so much happier, and mom was pleased, and it was heartwarming for us to see the change. And the kids are clapping about all this. This was like a big deal for the whole school.
They used to villainize going to the dentist, and now a dental story is bringing tears to my eyes. That is so sweet. I just imagine at that young age, this little girl who's had, we can only imagine how much dental pain she's been in for years. And
sometimes it starts so early, they're not even aware. We had about 3 weeks ago in the clinic an 18-month-old who had 3 cavities and 2 root canals. Now, you know what it's like to have a cavity. And so she had to have a series of things done. Again, it was the specialty services. But what we're trying to do...
How many teeth do they have at 18 months old? They have all...
Well, they have 18.
18? Okay.
But still, that's a third of your mouth. Now, she's obviously had this decay for a while, but because they're a child, they can't talk, they don't know. So what's happened oftentimes is a parent will only take their child to the dentist when they feel pain. And so part of the message we're trying to get out is the value of regular checkups so that you can go and get those things taken care of before it starts.
Before it starts. And your mobile units are going out, doing the screenings, and then coming back, and they actually do the procedures in the mobile unit the second time, or they recommend... They do the procedures in the...
We do a combination. Part of what we're trying to do is connect people with community clinics in their areas. So if we're out screening in an area and there's another clinic, we will refer that to local so that they can get a dental home, and we can hook that family up with a place to go. But we do treatments on the dental, on the mobile van as well.
I usually pick a dentist that's closest to my house, so I'll go, like a gym.
Exactly.
I'm like, if I can't drive by it on my way home, I might not go.
Well, we need to make it easy, and that's why the mobile is so important, because we're able to get out into communities where some folks are, because transportation is an issue for many.
Yeah, and taking time off of work or
Exactly.
the other responsibilities so closer, I could see how in the mobile unit could be just detrimental. Now, you guys have events. I want to touch on that before we get into the next segment about home care. What events do we have coming up?
Oh, we're very excited. We have an annual event where we recognize leaders in oral health care. Because again, as we've talked about, it's such a small part, people don't realize how important it is. So at this annual event, we recognize people who've been helping in the community to bring awareness to the issue, who've helped make things happen. So coming up February 27th is our Leaders in Oral Health event, where we're going to be honoring not only the people that started our organization, because 10 years is quite a marker to accomplish this far. So we're going to be kind of setting the stage, thanking the people that have helped us get there, the Children's and Family Commission, which is the Prop 10 tobacco tax dollars that come through, as well as Pacific Life, our founding board members, and this collaborative pediatric clinics I mentioned, these groups that refer, that are trying to improve the system of access to care for students. So that's all happening coming up on the 27th, and we're very excited about it because we also need fundraising efforts so that we can help do this.
Yeah, we need champions of oral health, as well as the people that are on the front lines making it happen. And of course, parents, you at home, you are part of our champions, making sure that our children have good oral health. We're going to talk about how you can be a part of that when we come back.
It's your nature. Explore. Do you see? Be a tree. Really stretch. Make a sketch. Give some care. Laugh and share. dig down deep. Take a leap. See what's new? See, it's true. Nature's gifts wait for you. Gifts to feel, touch, and more. It's your nature. Explore. For the children in your life, visit Nature Explore at arborday.org.